Hello, my friends. A week ago, I uploaded a video called Sex After 70, Intimacy in Our Older Years. I hoped it would create a conversation, but I never expected the response I got. Now, a lot of you, most of you, didn't reply in the YouTube comment section, and I completely understand that. It's a private conversation and it's a public platform. But as most of you know, my email address is on my YouTube channel for anyone to use if they need to speak to me privately. And goodness me, the mails I got in, and it saddened me to read them. I read things like, my wife and I haven't had intercourse in 20 years. My wife won't even discuss the matter. My husband pays me no attention. My husband won't even hold my hand in public. My husband hasn't told me he loves me for more years than I can count. Well, I'm going to talk about this today. Not as an expert, because I'm not, and not as a counselor, but just as someone who cares for people in general and you, my subscribers and my audience. And I'm so saddened by the comments that I've seen. So let's talk about this. Now, the first matter that I'd like to approach is communication. Are you talking about this problem? Have you even broached the subject? Now, I know that my generation, and maybe a lot of people who are watching this video now are of the same generation. We don't talk about things like that. It's not something we were brought up to talk openly about. I mean, I went to a Catholic school. I was taught that kissing was sinful. So obviously it's difficult to talk about things like that, but we need to if we're going to have healthy relationships. So the first thing that we need to do is open the conversation. It may feel awkward in the beginning. It will, but do it. And don't start the conversation with, you never want to. Why won't you? Why not start it with something like, I miss us. I miss what we used to have. Can we talk about it? Now, whoever you're talking to, your partner is not going to get defensive with an opening like that to a conversation. And then talk about it. Talk about your feelings. Talk honestly. And say, I miss you. I miss this part of our relationship or our marriage. And can we talk about why it doesn't exist anymore? And don't let your partner just say, well, I don't want to talk about it. Say, maybe a little more firmly, this is something we need to talk about. There are ultimatums being given, and don't let your train of conversation go in that direction at all. But maybe firmly, this is something we need to talk about. It's important to me. And try to have the conversation. Now, once again, not as an expert, but talking to you as a woman. There are a lot of things that are love language to us that I don't think you men even know. Foreplay does not start in the bedroom. It doesn't even start an hour before bed. It starts every day. You know, a woman who feels desirable, sexy, loved, seen by her husband is very much more likely to want to make love than one that never notices her, doesn't hold her hand when they go out, doesn't tell her he loves her just occasionally, and then hops into bed and expects to have a good sex life. Not gonna happen. Another thing, when your wife is standing at the kitchen sink washing the dishes, yes, we all love to have our neck kissed. You know what? Instead of doing that, walk up behind her and say, darling, lovey, whatever you call her, let me carry on here. You go and do something nice for yourself. That's foreplay. For the younger dads, somebody younger who just may be listening, even though this channel is directed at older folk, if you are kind to your wife's children, who are also probably your children, and she's standing at the kitchen sink looking out the window and she sees you kicking the ball around with your son or doing whatever you're doing with her children, in her heart they're her children. You don't have to do any more than that. That's love language for us. I know we all are watching our pennies. People are battling all over the world. It's cheaper to eat at home. And I'm not talking about date night. Having a date night once a week. First of all, date night sets you up with an expectation of what's supposed to happen. And ladies don't like that. We don't like to think something is expected of us. We want to make love. We don't want it to be an expectancy, a reward for a dinner out. But what about that occasional dinner out and nothing happens afterwards? Except maybe a nice hug and sleeping close together, but there's no expectation. Immediately those stress levels will drop. She knows, oh, he likes spending time with me. And then when we come home, I see he doesn't automatically want sex. I could say intimacy, but let's call it by its name. Then we all know what we're talking about. Try that, guys. That's how we operate. When you're sitting around watching TV, are you sitting around perhaps with just your shorts or jocks on or whatever? Maybe you're a bit overweight. I'm not image bashing here, but most women try to look as good as they can most of the time. I notice the guys don't do that. You know what? It's a bit of a turn off when you walk into the living room and your husband is lying in the chair and he's got his shirt off and he's got a big tummy sticking out. And I'm being honest here, guys. I'm making this video to be honest. I might as well talk about everything. I'm not saying go on diet. I'm saying put a shirt on. Just try to look nice. And then, just when you were thinking I was bashing you guys to bits, ladies, come on now. Are you getting in your pajamas at 6 o'clock? Washing all your makeup off that you've had on all day, that maybe you put on to go out to lunch or coffee with your friends, and now you've washed it off now that you're sitting watching some TV with your husband. What you should be doing is perhaps going through to your bedroom and just touching your lipstick up a bit, putting on a little bit of makeup, not taking it off, just giving your hair a bit of a brush. Look in the mirror and see that that is the person that he is seeing. That's the person that you're hoping he sees as desirable. Well, make sure that you are as desirable as you can possibly be. Now, we've talked about everything that we'd like from our husbands. Somebody told me the other day that she sat down next to her husband and she told him that she loved him. And he looked at her and he was shocked. Should any of us, husbands or wives or partners, should we ever be shocked to hear "I love you" from our partner? If you look at him or her and you get that feeling in your heart, which we do from time to time, don't keep it to yourself. Just say, "Love you." Don't make a big thing about it. Love you. Those are the actions that lead to a good sex life. Because you've had a good day. You both are trying to look your best. You're showing each other affection. You are showered and clean and with washed hair, and you look like somebody who needs a hug. Those are the people who are going to be making love later that night, or maybe even earlier. But that's what this conversation's about. I think we just need to be completely honest about these things and say, are we doing our best? And yes, probably some of you are, and you're still not winning. I would suggest that you there too firmly say to your partner that you think you need some counseling on the matter. If it's leaving you feeling lonely and rejected, then that's not good for one partner to be feeling like that in a relationship. I just want to bring up something else as well while we're about this, and this goes both ways. If you've had an argument, maybe not even that day, maybe a couple of days before, and you haven't actually sorted it out, it's just fizzled away and you've swept it under the carpet, but there's a bit of resentment going on. You know that feeling when you're thinking, she thinks she got away with that, well, I'm not going to let that happen again, or the other way around, whatever. So there's a bit of seething going on, and that night the other partner says, "Come on, darling," wants to make love. Why do you think the other one doesn't want to? They're still filled with resentment about the argument you had that you never sorted out. So don't let those arguments just fade away. Sort them out. Even if it means another argument, sort it out. Get it out. Say sorry if you need to. So that when you get into bed at night, the argument is over. Do you know there's a loneliness in not sharing intimacy with your partner that is worse than living alone? A loneliness that can only be explained by somebody who's experienced it. And it's an awful place to be. And husbands, wives, ladies, gents, whoever's watching this, don't put your partner in that place. It's a dark, lonely place. Let's also remember that in older age, there's certain physical things that will happen that don't allow you to have sex anymore. And that is something that you will once again discuss and come to terms with. There may be medications you're taking, any health issues, but those are your private ones. Every relationship has their own little issues to deal with. And you need to deal with those privately, but you need to deal with them. You need to talk to each other about them. And so that there's an openness about it. And then there are those who are happy to not have the actual act of sex in their marriage any longer, but are still intimate, are still loving each other and holding hands and kissing and sharing their own kind of love language. And that is beautiful too. I want to thank you so much for coming back and having this conversation with me again. And thank you so much for all your responses to the previous video. And I hope that you, knowing that my email address is on my YouTube channel, that you will respond to this one as well. I wish you everything of the best. And big hugs from me as always. Bye for now.